Alexa, play the beginning of Johnny B. podcast. Restarting How to Die Together.
Yeah. New intro. Let's go. Fuck this shit. Fuck that shit.
Wow.
Why aren't we using
Fuck that bitch. And all his shit. This is the show. It's called Fuck That Shit.
She must have said shit show. She just said call. Yeah, she said, Alexa.
Alexa, play the beginning of Johnny B. podcast.
Johnny B's
Restarting How to
podcast.
Die Together.
This is the show. It's called Fuck That Shit.
Yeah, thank you.
He's not here for a long time, he's here for a good time. Yeah, wherever he goes, it's still the brand my show.
They call that music, I call it crap.
I'm going up the country, where did you want to go? I'm going to do some things that I've never done before. I'm going where the water tastes like wine. I'm going where the water tastes like wine. We can jump in the water, stay drunk all the time. Like Kermit the Frog. Johnny B, thanks. Good.
Oh, I see. It's Kermit the Frog doing Canned Heat. I get it.
The owl.
The owl, Canned Heat, underrated. Buzz Kilman up in there. J-Mac in his house with his sack attached.
Yeah.
All right. I'm in here.
Attack.
Sack attack with the Mac Man. Hey, Jimmy Kimmel did a whole thing on Star Wars. Did you see that monologue or not this week?
No.
Take a look at it.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out.
But he was wondering because he wanted to show his kids Star Wars. He loves Star Wars because this past week was May 4th be with you. You know, Star Wars Day, whatever it is, right? What do they call it? May the 4th be with you?
You got it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, May 4th was the Star Wars Day or whatever it was. So he was wanting to show his little kids Star Wars because he was a Star Wars freak like you, J-Mac is. Mm-hmm. And he didn't know what order you should now watch if you want to catch up and find out if you like Star Wars yourself. What order do you watch them in? Do you have an order that we can go with that would make it make sense to us who don't give a shit about Star Wars? You know what I mean?
The weird thing about Star Wars is when it first came out in the 70s, it started with episodes 4, 5, and 6. So everyone was wondering, well, where's episodes 1, 2, and 3? Lucas eventually came back around to making those in the late 90s. Now, I prefer to watch it in the order in which they were released. So I do a 4, 5, 6, then get the backstory with 1, 2, 3.
Wait a minute.
I like that, though. That makes sense.
Okay, why is it? Does it? Because to me, I want to watch it the way it started, the way the Star Wars started, then the way it ends. But he said something like this, and I don't even get it, but you would, because I know there was some complaint about it. He said, Jimmy Kimmel said, yeah, but I don't want to start with Jar Jar Binks as the first thing they see.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. But their kids are, if you're showing young kids,
Wait.
But
why? Because that was a horrible character?
Yeah, Jar Jar Binks was really disliked by Star Wars fans and moviegoers in general. But George Lucas loved the character and would, always say that it was one of his favorite characters, but nobody else liked it but George Lucas.
Man, oh man.
So, but you know what? Because it's a very juvenile character. It's a cartoony character, and I think a lot of kids respond to it. Now, a lot of
and the rest of the movie is so serious and and normal.
For the most part.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. I think Kimmel should start with one, actually.
All right. Let's make sure we tweet Mr. Kimmel and tell him that you said it. And if you want to hear all this Star Wars talk, go to what?
RebelForceRadio.com.
RebelForceRadio.com.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
All right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to travel.
I'm afraid of America.
Oh, no, I'm not. I forgot. I take that back. I am not going to travel because there's too much unruly behavior in the air. What?
With the summer travel season about to kick off, the FAA says passenger behavior seems to have sunk to a new low this year. All-out fistfights spilling out of planes and into airports, with some passengers refusing to wear masks. Police called on board flights to remove passengers who refuse to follow the federal mask rule. In Denver, fellow passengers were forced to hold down a man who tried to open an emergency exit in flight. In Las Vegas...
Hold on a minute. Did he just say there's a man on the flight tried to open an emergency exit?
He wanted out.
Jesus.
So this man climbed out onto the wing of a plane.
Oh, okay. So we've got one guy on a flight.
Does he get a discount for that?
Hey, I'm traveling on the wing. How much off do I get for my ticket price? Are you kidding me, man? I mean, unbelievable. This report is disgusting.
Now the FAA reports unruly passenger behavior has skyrocketed this year, from 150 cases in a typical year to 1,300 reported cases in just 4 months.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's why, listen, I don't care. I'm not going on a plane. I'm still in truck driving school, so I'm going to be able to go wherever.
Travel. You're going to be traveling.
Yeah, but I'm not going in a plane. What else is going on up in there?
The physical and verbal abuse that flight attendants have been taking has been way off the charts of any kind of air rage incidents that we've been talking about over the past 20 years.
The most bad behavior complaints involve passengers refusing to wear masks, bringing their own alcohol on board, engaging in political intimidation, verbally or physically assaulting other passengers. And
wait, hold on. You knew that. You knew that was going to be the first reason you're seeing these fights on the planes. I'm not wearing a mask. You wear a mask, blah, blah, blah. But bringing your own alcohol on board. Wow, okay.
Crew members.
Flight attendants being physically assaulted, pushed, choked. We had a passenger urinate. We had a passenger spit into the mouth of a child on board.
Hold on a minute. Spit into the mouth of a child? I mean, what, seriously, people, what is wrong with everybody out there? Jesus. Spit into the mouth of a child?
Oh, my God.
I mean, I would like further, this is from the Today Show on NBC, I would like further information about how a guy is so effed up that he spits into a child's mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I blame this all on the pandemic.
Yeah, we know who the blame is. I know. We got it.
It's forced people to, I mean, just social distancing alone, you get the idea that you are alone and you know, and,
right.
And after a year or so, that takes a toll.
Can't you just, well, listen, I get it. Whatever your beliefs are, left, right, middle, mask, no mask, can't you just behave yourself on one flight? Can't you just behave like a human being? But this is spitting on a kid. What would a little kid do to get spit on? I'd like to know that.
Hey,
I think I have a story.
Yeah, go ahead. Elaborate.
Whoa.
Tell me.
Actually, it appears to be a female passenger. Valerie Gonzalez had been drinking all day and told police, I'm not sitting next to an effing 3-year-old on the 5-hour JetBlue flight from Florida to Las Vegas.
Oh, my God.
She got upset when she realized she had been seated near a 3-year-old. Fellow passengers filmed her expletive-filled rant and caught the disgusting woman as she spat at the child in the seat in front of her before exclaiming, "What did I do?"
Oh, my God.
So she was wasted. It doesn't really say in this story if she actually spat in the girl's mouth. But this is the only story I could find with an adult spitting on a child on a plane.
Oh, some good news in his reporting. This is the only article he could find about an adult spitting in a child's mouth, as he said. And he also used the word spat. I like it.
Yeah.
It seems right, but still, there's no reason. Unruly behavior, that's the story. Spike has gone berserk. They had 100 complaints, a while ago. Started this year, 1,300 complaints. And that's, by the way, when a number of passengers remains below the pre-pandemic levels. So there's 1,300 reports of people like that. What's her name again? Victoria Sanchez? Let's find her. No, what's her name?
Pulling up the story here. It was Valerie Gonzalez.
Pay attention. We're on the lookout for Valerie Gonzalez, who spit in a child's mouth or spit on a child. But that's what that flight attendant in the NBC Today Show report said. That. Here's what they've been dealing with.
Flight attendants being physically assaulted, pushed, choked. We had a passenger urinate. We had a passenger spit into the mouth of a child on board. These are some of the things that we have been dealing with.
Wow. That's what she said, spit into the mouth. That's the head of the flight attendants union right there.
Used to be so much fun being a flight attendant.
Oh, sure. That was like, hey, how can I get you a drink? How's it going? Right? Now look what they got.
Meet you later.
Yeah. Meet you in the toilet, as Buzz would say, for a hand job. Oh, my God. That's unbelievable. But anyway, listen to this about the air marshals, because this is something I would never think about.
Air marshals are going to be on guard and watching for more of this behavior throughout the summer as air travel is supposed to pick up dramatically. Air marshals, though, are often reluctant to get involved in a nonviolent situation out of concern that it may be a distraction from a real, ongoing, and potential terror threat. So very often, air marshals will sit and monitor the situation as other passengers get involved in de-escalating the situation. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much for your report. Thanks. Back to us. Okay. So the air marshal's on a plane. We get into a spat, or a spat.
Don't say spat.
Yes, that's Mac's word. We get into a spit. So I spit on a kid. Lady Victoria Gonzalez, whatever her name is, spits on a kid. People are fighting. Wear a mask. I'm not going to wear a mask. You wear a mask. I don't care, man. You're an idiot. Okay, man. Fight. But the air marshal now watches the tussle ensue right there on the airplane. As they're watching one guy climb out on a wing and another guy trying to open the exit door. That seems like a nice flight. While Buzz is in seat, getting a hand job.
Enjoying himself.
All right, we'd like to welcome you on this flight. They will be tussling in the middle aisle there before Buzz goes still getting a hair job. Please pay no attention to the man out there on the wing. Pay no attention to the man outside there on the airplane wing. We'll get him off as soon as possible. And the guy trying to open the exit door, just ignore him too. Keep your mask on. Have a good flight.
I mean, it seems like somebody could have stopped him from getting on the wing.
Well, that was on the ground, by the way.
Thank you.
No.
All right.
Buzz, do you think the guy was climbing out on the wing?
Well, we're talking about, airline flying. Some guy's opening a door, another guy climbed out on the wing.
Yeah, no. It was the guy. They showed the guy, too, on NBC's Today Show. They showed the dude, and he was climbing on the wing. And then when he was walking out on the wing, trying to get the attention of the passengers, he slipped off the wing and fell on the ground.
I'm afraid of America.
I'm afraid of Americans. I'm not afraid of anything else. We used to be afraid of other people. The terrorists are coming. Oh, my God. I'm afraid of Americans. All of them. And, yeah, it used to be fun to be a flight attendant. Have to deal with people climbing on you, trying to get outside, open the exit door, spitting in kids' mouths. It was fun. Wasn't it, lady?
Please extinguish all cigarettes and ensure that your seat bags and trays are in the upright and locked position.
Yeah, that's all you had to do.
I want to be a flight attendant. I can save you all. Look to me for your instructions when the plane begins to fall. Once I wanted to be a nun until I found out what it takes from you. Now I've settled on flight attendant and I know my heart is true. I'll never want to touch down, never want to see the ground. I'll never get lonely because I'll always fly away. I want to point out exits in a calm, assuring way. Being a nun is such a selfish thing when you think of the comfort you can bring each day as a flight attendant.
Yeah, you're nuts. It ain't that way anymore. I wonder if they're having trouble getting flight attendants, because that could be, once I get out of truck driving school, I'm going to apply for a flight attendant school.
What flying experience have you had?
Oh, I flew single-engine fighters in the Air Force, but this plane has 4 engines. It's an entirely different kind of flying, altogether.
It's an entirely different kind of flying. World's gone crazy. World's gone crazy. Oh, hey, did you see that? Before I came on, I was looking at this little picture of, and I don't want to say little picture, this picture of the giant Biden family meeting the tiny Jimmy Carter family.
No.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to tell you what I saw and what everyone else apparently saw. Hey, Matt, can you send that to Buzz, the picture of 2 presidents and a first lady? And there are many jokes online about this picture. They met. Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind received a visit from President Biden and Jill Biden at their home in Plains, Georgia. And, of course, they get there and they take photos of this event because it's historical. But at some point during the visit, the Bidens appeared to have turned into giants and the Carters turned into hobbits.
Well, it's just Jimmy Carter who's shrinking, and Rosalind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At some point during the picture, there's a picture of two presidents and first ladies, the Bidens and the Carters. There they are in Plains, Georgia. The Carters look like they have shrunk, and look at Jimmy Carter's shoes. His shoes are bigger than the living room, and Rosalind looks like she's shrinking. But when I first saw it, I thought, oh, yeah, I've seen my mother-in-law shrink. The old people that are dying. I saw people. Yeah,
shrinks.
That's what I thought, Buzz. I thought maybe they were just shrink, but no.
His shoes are huge.
They say that's the tip-off. The photographers who looked at it said, "Look at the shoes. The shoes will tell you all. It is a lens."
It's a wide angle.
It's a wide angle lens. The answer can be found in Mr. Carter's gigantic shoes, said a former chief official White House photographer. Compared to the rest of them, they look huge. That to me is an indication that the foreground was distorted by a super wide angle lens. And I love this, though. The chief official White House photographer who took that photo, when he was asked by the Associated Press, hey, man, explain how it's very sad about the Carter shrinking.
Well, he is shrinking.
He said, I'm not going to answer. He declined to think about it. He didn't want to talk about it. And he said that historical pictures are, whatever they are, and they can never change them. You cannot edit to remove the distortion. If you took a picture of president, you cannot change it.
I believe he's embarrassed, the photographer.
I think you're probably right. The picture, for all its flaws, is history, and that's the way it's going to stay. One Twitter guy goes, it looks like the Tiny Doll Museum. And Joe and Jill Biden are giants.
It is weird. It's so weird.
It's the weirdest, funniest. Others counted on Twitter, perhaps age shrunk the former president to 3 feet. That's what I thought. I thought it was like, wait a minute. Okay, he's getting old. I saw my grandfather. I saw him. He looked really like a child in bed. He was so small.
But Jimmy Carter, he's in his 90s, but he's out building houses. And
I don't think he's building houses anymore.
Oh, yes, he is.
Really, at 90?
Oh, yes. He reports he fell down the stairs and came up with a huge black eye on a Sunday, and on a Monday morning, he's out there pounding nails in a new house.
How do you know that?
I read about it.
Well, you don't think about it, you read about it. Okay. Well, okay, in 92, did you see the story about the how long we can live now? We can live, according to science, 122.
Oh, really? I'm 2 years behind. I had it at 120.
122. Okay.
That's what I'm shooting for.
Are you serious? Do you want to be 122?
If I could be really healthy, yes. And Jimmy Carter's healthy. He's enjoying himself.
For a hobbit.
I know my girl ain't no hobbit. She might be stumpy, that don't mean she a hobbit. She's not a hobbit because she couldn't be.
She couldn't be.
She got no Bagginses in her family tree.
That's right, Rosalind Carter.
Yes, on occasion she hangs out with her dwarf friends, but she never went on no quest with her dwarf friends.
That's right.
Except for one time she went to kill that dragon.
Yeah.
He wasn't no dragon, so my girl ain't no hobbit.
Rosalind Carter ain't no hobbit.
His name is Red Meyer.
Now we have a chicken shortage. What's going on with that? We can't have chicken anymore? There's no chicken?
I got to have chicken.
I got it. We're out of chicken?
I've been getting free chicken lately because my daughter is now working for a chicken restaurant.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Speaking of restaurants, the only changes that I see that I like happening in restaurants are the seating. They're making seating no matter what. There's going to stay. Pandemic restaurant changes that are going to stay even when the pandemic is long gone. If it's ever gone, they are going to keep the seating, the same way. Like people, I hated that. Do you ever go into a restaurant, the settee? You know what settee is, where they're sitting right next to you?
Yeah. No, I don't do that.
I hate that. I can't.
Can't eat with strangers.
No, there you go. You can only get hand jobs from them, but you can't eat with them. Yeah, it makes sense. But more space between tables, bring it on. I'm in. and bring me some chicken.
Fast food chain locations ran out of chicken. Tonight, customers were clucking their disapproval.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a good one. Back to you, Mary.
Fast food chain locations ran out of chicken. Tonight, customers were clucking their disapproval.
Customers at the drive-thru heard this recorded message.
Sorry for the inconvenience, but we are all out of chicken and we are closed for the rest of the day. Thank you and have a blessed day.
One woman yelled back at the machine.
People have kids that they trying to feed, and you mean to tell me that we can't feed our kids?
Oh, yeah, there's no other food in the world. How are you going to be able to feed your kids at the drive-thru place with no chicken? Maybe Buzz's daughter can bring you a bucket.
Yeah. Raising Cane. It's a new chicken restaurant.
Oh, my God, I read about that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got a nice little outfit, little hat.
Nice. Hope she doesn't run into this lady.
Because y'all didn't order enough chicken.
But no one was listening.
Are you kidding me? No one. I thought I ordered some chicken, but no one was listening.
No chicken.
No chicken?
This is ridiculous. They should have the tractor trailer out back with extra chicken on ice. You know?
Hold on a minute. Yes, wait. That's a fine point. Have a tractor trailer out back with extra chicken on ice. Boy, she is smart. Why didn't they hire her?
I'm afraid of America.
I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. America running low on chicken. Blame it on COVID-19. But what else could you blame it on? Do you know?
No.
Sandwich craze. The chicken sandwich craze.
Is it a craze?
Yeah, and it's affected me. I've had it. I love Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. Then I want to go to Popeyes and try their chicken sandwich. Then I want to go to, even seeing the McDonald's chicken sandwich. That looks good to me. I like it.
So you finally tried the Popeyes chicken after the car wash incident? You finally got there.
No, I didn't. Because the car wash thing ruined me for life. I still haven't had a Popeyes chicken sandwich.
I hear it's the best.
That's what they say, but I don't believe it. But I guess, you know what? I'm going to go there right after this. I'm going to have a chicken sandwich. I am.
I mean, I do love chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, how you doing?
But I didn't think it was a craze. I mean, there's always been a chicken sandwich.
No. Chick-fil-A started it, then Popeyes, of course, jumped on it. Or I don't know who started it, but they're dubbing the year, this is the year of the chicken sandwich, right? That's it. And it says Popeye kicked it off, then Chick-fil-A, then KFC, then McDonald's. That's the order. One guy said, what we need is a 4-winged chicken because we're running out of chicken wings, too. Yeah, I'm going to order right now.
If you want a 4-winged chicken, I guarantee there's somebody that can make one.
You know it's probably being made right now.
Hi, I was on the way here a couple of weeks ago to get a chicken sandwich. I'm here now. Can I get a chicken sandwich? Oh, sorry, we are out of chicken sandwiches.
That's what's going to happen to me now. We know Chick-fil-A. Popeyes, I definitely got to try. KFC and McDonald's. I'm going to try all those. I'm going to try those all today, and then I'll be looking for a 4-winged chicken.
That'll occupy the rest of your day.
I can eat a live chicken in 27 seconds.
Good.
Goodbye.
Chicken, trying out the Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick and your brain stops sticking.
Hello.
The Jonathan Brandmeier Showcast.
The shit show.
This is the new, not normal.
Get Jonathan Brandmeier Showcast merch at brandmeiershow.com.
brandmeiershow.com. Just go to that website and then hit merch.
I'm going to get the earplugs.
Everybody's fascinated by this Aaron Rodgers story. Where's Aaron Rodgers going to go? What is Aaron Rodgers going to do? Aaron Rodgers told the Packers he doesn't want to play for the Green Bay Packers anymore. And Wisconsin isn't a tizzy. A tizzy. Oh, my God. Where's he going to go? What's he going to do? What do you mean he doesn't want to play for the Green Bay Packers anymore? I feel like jacking with some Wisconsin people. I have a bunch of numbers I don't know if anyone picks up. I'm just going to tell them that the Aaron Rodgers, what do they think of the news that Aaron Rodgers is now a Chicago Bear?
Mayville BP.
Yes, hi. I hate to bother you. We are calling from CNN regarding the news that Aaron Rodgers has been traded to the Chicago Bears, and we're looking for someone. Hello? I sounded believable.
I'm guessing she's not a football fan, and she's heard enough.
Why would she just hang up so quickly?
Something.
Maybe all the reporters are calling. Hey, how do I know? Maybe it did happen. I mean, they're talking about, different places Aaron Rodgers could end up, or he'll just end up back at the Packers. Hey, lady, come on. I want to know why you hung up on me.
Mabel BP.
Hello, you just hung up on me. I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm just trying to get a statement from anyone there in Wisconsin about the Aaron Rodgers trade to the Chicago Bears. It will take 1 second. Please, I'm just trying to do...
I'm not interested, though.
But just, would it bother you or how about some...
Sir?
Yes.
This is a place of business, so I'm not going to get on the phone and talk about Aaron Rodgers.
But okay, give me a quick opinion. Do you care if he went to the Bears or don't you?
I don't care.
No way. Is anyone there that could just please come
Excuse
to the...
me. Yeah. I don't care, and this is a place of business. Please don't call again.
Now, wait a minute. I'm saying, could someone...
No, wait a minute.
No. I'm hello?
Don't call us.
And we just concluded our poll of Wisconsin fans.
Oh, gosh darn it, don't you know? I'm a cheesehead baby, the pride of Wisconsin. Friday night fish fry.
Once again, the great Mike Ditko.
Johnny B, thank you. I can't tell you're a hell of a guy.
All right, hold on a minute. What does this email say? Johnny, my brother is 19. He works at my dad's machine shop. Every evening, my brother comes home complaining about what a rough job he has. Please have Ditka call his cell phone and leave him a voicemail and tell him to man up. Stop whining. These people who whine about everything.
Right, that answer. Hey, are you busy?
May I please ask who's speaking?
Have you been working hard today? You whine and complain about how hard your job is? Do you have to get up too early? You're too tired? You whine about that stuff all the time? Why do you whine? You got a good life? You make money? You got a good family? You got your health? You got to be happy.
Okay.
Well, this is Mike Ditka. This is Coach Ditka talking to you, whiner.
Mike Ditka?
Yeah.
What?
You heard me.
Your brother wrote us an email, and he said he wanted us to straighten you out. Quit whining.
Baby.
Wine's only good with cheese.
That's right.
Is this Johnny B? What is
it? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And Ditka.
Get after it.
Get after it. Get out there and get it done.
All right.
Yeah. That's right, Ditka. There were no whiners on the 85 Bears anyway. On the line with us is Dan Wiederer of the Chicago Tribune, award-winning sports writer for the Chicago Tribune. Wrote the original story that broke it with Steve McMichael and his fight against ALS. Mongo McMichael, good old number 76 of the Chicago Bears, suddenly in a vicious fight against ALS was the headline.
I walked out my first practice with the Bears. I don't know who Buddy Ryan is. This little short, fat guy walks up to me. He says, well, 76, you've been working out? Because I'm going to work your butt off today. I said, yeah, Coach, I've got this big black Great Dane. He loves to get me jogging. I've been running. I'm in shape. He said, oh, yeah, we'll find out. After wind sprints, I'm bent over. I hear that smartass walk up behind me. You know what he says? Shoot, 76, we should have signed the freaking dog.
That's Steve McMichael right there.
No doubt about it. I mean, one of the best storytellers, one of the biggest characters, one of the most larger-than-life figures from obviously an iconic team in football history and the city's history. And, I mean, a guy who is so universally adored by so many and now is in this battle with ALS that is really taking a lot from him.
When I first saw your story, my reaction was, I guess I thought I was going to start crying. It was emotional. How did you get into this? Were you invited into Mongo's house? How did this happen? How did this come out?
Yeah, it's a good question. And obviously, as you can tell from the article, folks close to Steve have known about this for months, teammates, family, friends, those near to him. And Steve was really just trying to come to grips with it himself and trying to figure out what makes sense in terms of letting the world in on this. And so I had heard some rumblings back in the winter and had reached out to him, and Steve would neither confirm nor deny that he was dealing with something serious, but in a very Mongo-esque way said, nothing can be concealed in the future, in his very Mongo-esque voice. And then, essentially was reached out by him and his family and his publicist to be the one to share his news a couple weeks ago. And it is so surreal, Johnny, because you know the presence he is, right? And the presence he's always been, and the way he fills a room with his size, first of all, with his voice, with his presence, with his want to be the larger-than-life guy in the room, and to see him now in this state where he can't use his arms, he can barely use his legs, and to be so vulnerable and so helpless, it's incredibly sad, and yet that day at Steve's house, there was this heartening feeling that if there's anyone that is going to battle this with a blend of humor and grace and toughness, it's Steve McMichael.
Yeah. And you already saw that in your article. My question was, I mean, it's like, okay, I read it and I was like, oh my God. And you were in the room and you saw it. And for people that aren't clear on it, describe what you saw. I mean, he couldn't raise his arms. And I don't know if he's full-time in the wheelchair now, but when you walked in that room, what kind of emotion did you show? Any emotion to them? Or was like, how did it? Steve probably just armed you, didn't he? Like, just because he's Steve
McMichael.
No
question. That's a great way to put it, because he's just, even now, still so engaging at all times. And so, you walk in, and because he's Steve McMichael, the first thing you're expecting is a joke, right? Because that's what Steve McMichael does. He tells jokes, and he lightens the mood, and he tries to make you feel at home. And it was no different walking into that kitchen a couple weeks ago. But as you mentioned, in the physical state he's in, to see him have to sort of crane his neck forward to use a straw to get a sip of coffee off his kitchen table, I was a little surprised that he was able to walk a little bit while I was there and get across the kitchen he jokes that he's a Super Bowl shuffler now because he could kind of shuffle from one end of the kitchen to the other. But he's going to need that wheelchair full time before long. His legs are going to go out on him soon. With ALS, the devastating part of it is that your brain basically loses its ability to communicate with the muscles and the nervous system. And so you still have all of your mental faculties, and you still have your brain, and in Steve McMichael's case, your sense of humor and your introspection and your ability to put things in perspective and your ability to be a raconteur and tell stories, right? It's all still there, but physically it's not still there. And so it was very difficult to kind of put those two things together in the moment. And again, to hear Steve still be in himself, right? And have that upbeat personality and that wants to give everything he has to this disease, to fight it with everything he has, to help his wife out, to help him with this disease, and still be dealing with everything he's dealing with physically. It's a hard thing to wrap your brain around. And, hopefully that they find the help that they need and the support they need to help make their journey a little bit easier.
You know what? I know people are so sick of talking about the 85 Bears, but guess what? They are the only team in Chicago history to win a Super Bowl. And they were just, every one of them, as Steve himself says.
We didn't have morons. I played the good Mongo when I played, but that was an actor doing a part. I wanted the other teams to underestimate the intelligence we were working with.
That's Steve McMichael. And he also says in your article, Dan, in the Chicago Tribune, you got to read this thing because it is touching as hell. He also said that ALS will sneak up on you like a cheap-shotting Green Bay Packer. You know what I mean? Right. He had to get it in the article. He had to get it in.
And he didn't just say it. He said it like Steve McMichael says it, right? And you can hear in those clips you play that voice. It's just so magnetic and so alluring. And it's just, you want to listen to every word that comes out of his mouth because it's said with such authority and confidence and everything that's with it. And so there were so many laughs sitting at that kitchen table and talking about this really difficult fight that they're facing because Steve still has that presence about him. Johnny, I always talk about, we spent a lot of time together in 2019. It was, the Bears 100th season was that season. And I was doing a deeper piece that year about what Steve McMichael meant to the Bears history, right? A guy who played 191 games in succession, never missed a game from the time he started as a Bear to the time he finished. And you think about that era, the pain you went through, and these guys didn't have massage therapists working on them 5 days a week and acupuncturists and everybody else that was going to get you up to speed, and to play 191 consecutive games. But in working on that story a couple of years ago and spending a lot of time with Steve and listening to his philosophies on life, one of the things that he said to me that always stuck with me in the very Mongo-esque way that he says it is, if you think I'm something special, I'm happy to agree with you. and it's said with a level of pride, and it's said with a level of self-confidence, but it's also said with a tone where Steve understands that when he's with people, that it's a moment for them, right? Like that this is something that they're going to remember, and he wants them to remember it in the most positive way possible. And so what was cool after writing the story a couple of weeks ago was to have my Twitter timeline filled with people who had come across Steve at one place or another, a bar, a fantasy draft, whatever it may be, and person after person after person saying, he spent half an hour with us. He hung out with us like he was just a regular guy. He told jokes. He told stories. That's Steve McMichael, the guy who is so accomplished in his life, but still wants you to feel part of his world in a very natural and fun way. And so all those moments that people of the city have had to experience with Steve, I think he's intensely proud of the fact that he is seen in that light by people who still admire that presence about him.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing that you brought up in the article is that fans have memories of him, that he didn't want these fans that you just described to have memories of him in a frail condition, in a wheelchair. He said the dancing chicken is ready to be entertained himself. Man. He's got, I mean, really, there's two things that people should take away from this. And if you're listening and you don't even understand or know who the 85 Bears or you don't give a crap and you don't care who Steve McMichael is, let me tell you something. In this day and age of whining and complaining and everything's negative, this dude is just positivity. But let's never underestimate his wife, Misty, and his daughter, because remember, around all these tragedies, around all this stuff, there's a family here helping him out, dropping everything. Now, when you saw that had to hit you because they are, they're every second for him. He can't lift his hand. She's helping him eat. What else is she doing? I mean, there's just so much stuff they're doing.
Steve hasn't been able to take a shower for a very, very long time, so Misty has to sponge bathe him, right? And so now they've had to add some levity into that very strange moment in life, right, where they're in that state. And you can hear it in Misty's voice when you talk with her. There's a level of anxiety there. There's a level of concern for what's ahead of them and the amount of care that is required for this. They're renting a home in Romeoville right now. They don't have the ability to renovate it to make it handicap accessible. The wheelchair does not fit through the doorways. And so they are going to need to find a handicap accessible house soon.
Leasing a home, trying to find a place. And as Steve McMichael said, houses are disappearing. The inventory disappears in a minute it goes up. So as I read the article, I thought, okay, sad, McMichael, oh my God. But then the first thing I said was, wait, what do they need from us? If I have a voice here, what can we do for them? You brought up the house. Tell us what they need, Dan, and maybe we can help a little bit with that.
Well, in the multiple reasons that they came forward with this diagnosis at the time that they did is pretty soon they're going to have to start doing some fundraising. And that's already started here in the last 2 weeks to help their cause out. And so in order to start the fundraising, you have to let people know what's going on. They started a GoFundMe page a couple weeks ago, which as of yesterday, I believe was within $100 of reaching a goal of $176,000 raised just since the diagnosis was announced. That's incredible. It's a testament to who Steve is. It's a testament to the heart in this city of people that were willing to contribute $25, $50, $100 at a time to help their cause. It's amazing. That GoFundMe page is still up. Team Mongo is the GoFundMe page. They also are selling shirts through Obvious Shirts, Team Mongo shirts, where they will 100% of the proceeds from those sales will go to the McMichael family and their medical needs going forward. And so teammongo76.com is the page where there are going to be upcoming events as well, where there are going to be additional fundraising events. These are things that people can do and be active and lend just a little bit of support. And a little goes a long way, as I mentioned, with that $176,000 target almost met here less than 2 weeks since the diagnosis became public. That's incredible. And so you really have great understanding for who Steve is, what he means to the city, and really what this city means to each other, right? Because it's a city that can rally around one another when that time it comes upon us.
Yeah, that's what I felt. It's like, so cool, Chicago. Let's go. Let's help this dude out. He gave us so much joy. Let's help him out a little bit. And really, just to be clear, Obvious Shirts is selling shirts. But if you really want to just find, you're hearing any of this, so go to Team Mongo, and you should be able to find the GoFundMe page, the Obvious Shirts, everything else. Is that correct?
Yeah, and teammongo76.com. Yeah, that'll be the portal to a lot of this stuff that we just talked about. And I'll tell you another story here that makes me laugh a little bit with Steve. I've joked with him for years that I was 9 years old when the Bears won the Super Bowl in January 1986, and I told him, look, like that was the first year that I was really, really into to football. And I thought this was what Chicago Bears football was. You just win 15 games every season. You steamroll through the playoffs without giving up a touchdown. And then you get in the Super Bowl and you see what you can do. And so the Bears were ahead by so much in the first half of that game against the Patriots in Super Bowl 20. I said, Steve, I stopped watching at halftime. I went to the other end of the basement with my buddy and played football on our own because we were just so bored in the game. And he said, you know what I tell people that tell me that my Super Bowl was so boring that they stopped watching at halftime? So did I, mother bleeper.
Oh, man. Okay. So here's my Steve McMichael story. So I guess it was, remember when Gary Fensick, well, you probably don't, but Gary Fensick owned the Hunt Club bar.
Sure, yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we would go to the Hunt Club, my brothers and I, we'd hang out at the bar. Sometimes we played in band, whatever. We just there. Steve McMichael, I saw him coming out of the bathroom. He grabbed me by the shirt, lifted me with one hand up against the wall, and he goes, you Brandmeyers never know when to shut the F up. He dropped me, and he started laughing, and we walked, hey, nice meeting you, too. See you later.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot to mention, he pulled a knife out of his boot.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. He always had a knife on him for some reason. He was always carrying a knife around. It just made me laugh every time I saw him. I was like, you guys never, he took the knife up. He goes, you Brandmeyers never know when to shut the F up.
Well, and I laugh also because if you remember Steve on Sports Sunday, on Sunday nights after games with Mark Giangreco and how wild some of those things got. My mom used to try to get me to go to bed before 10:30 just so that I wouldn't be exposed to whatever bawdy act that Steve had in store for that week. And I was like, Mom, I'm staying up, man. You know, the Bears won today. Steve's going to go on there. He's probably going to have had a couple Crown Royals before he's gotten on there. I want to see what he's got in store this week. And that was certainly part of the circus in the 80s and part of my childhood growing up.
That's fantastic because that's the way it was. That was a real, you could see they were real human beings. And speaking of 85 Chicago Bears, you said earlier that they knew, a lot of the Bears knew that he was going through ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. Steve McMichael was afflicted. And who has showed up to the house to hang out, stop by, say hi?
Yeah, Dan Hampton came and built a ramp for Steve from his laundry room to his garage to help them get in and out of the house a little better. And that tells you the friendship that they have all these years later. Gary Fensick has made it over there for a visit. Jay Hilgenberg and Tom Thayer have gone to the house to visit. So many others have reached out. Dennis McKinnon has been over there as well. I saw on Twitter yesterday that Ric Flair made a stop in. We forget that Steve was a presence in the pro wrestling world for a long time. And when I was getting responses to my story a couple of weeks ago from this whole world of pro wrestling fans, it was like, oh yeah, that's part of Steve's existence as well. That was a big part of his journey and his story. And so you understand the number of people who he's had an impact on and has left an impression on, right? I mean, we're telling stories here because Steve leaves an impression on you. He doesn't just cross your path. He leaves an impression on you.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. The whole thing is amazing. It's sad, but yet it's Steve McMichael. And if anyone can get through it, these guys can get through it. But once again, tell me if I'm wrong. There is no cure. There's no coming back from Lou Gehrig's disease. That's it. It's just slowly, and it's kind of a rapid deterioration. Is that a fact, Dan?
No doubt about it. And it progresses at different speeds for different folks. But, there's a chance that, I put this in the article, there's a chance that Steve McMichael won't be able to talk at some point, right? And the idea that we will be deprived of that booming voice and those stories and those jokes, it's impossible to wrap your brain around. It is so incredibly heartbreaking. And it's just a disease that no matter how hard you work, you can't defeat it. You just have to try to make it as easy on yourself as possible. And that's what some of this outreach is about. And a credit to the team that Steve has around him to try to help get him the help that he needs, because there's going to be a lot of it needed in the months and years ahead.
Yeah, I hope we can help. Hope these people listening can help. That's one thing you brought up. The voice could go out, and then that computerized speaking device might be needed. He'll have to talk through some kind of computer or whatever they need.
Right.
I hope they get the house. When you just said something, I want people to let it sink in 1 second. Dan Hampton, the great Dan Hampton of the Chicago Bears, showed up. He didn't say, hey, how's it going? He didn't want to be seen in an article. He built a ramp for his buddy. Yeah. He built it. He didn't hire a guy to build it. He built it. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And that compassion is something that Steve in recent months has really become very aware of and very thankful for, that there are so many people that have that level of compassion for his well-being. And I think it's a testament to how he made people feel, right? And one of the reasons that we connected a couple of years ago is because that's what he was as a football player, because he worked his ass off every single day to get the absolute most out of the talent that he was blessed with. And that's not to be lost in this, because that is a part of the journey that he is intensely proud of, and that others around him say, yeah, that's who Steve McMichael was. You all may hear the jokes and the props and everything else that came with the Steve McMichael experience. The hard-working nature of that man is what turned him into who he is, and that's not to be lost in the story either.
Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, he said in your fine article there, Mr. Dan Wiederer of the Chicago Tribune, the award-winning sports writer, I know why you got a lot of awards, because you're good. And I'll say this, at the end when Steve goes, and you quote this in the article, a man needs to know he was loved so he can be proud of himself. A man needs to know he was loved so he can be proud of himself and know that he mattered. Well, what did we just talk about? That dude mattered. He mattered. There's no question about it. And I love this from Steve.
My whole existence was about walking out that tunnel and hearing the roar of the crowd. That's what you miss, mattering to that throng. That's when you're really alive, baby. And do you ever get back to that point once it's gone? I haven't. I'm not one of those that thinks, oh, the rise and fall. Go sit on it, anybody that's worried about the fall. I don't care what shape any guy's in, every one of them would do it again.
Wow.
I have goosebumps.
Me too.
From the balls of my feet to
Me too.
the top of my scalp right now.
Amazing, man. Dan, thank you much for your time. We appreciate it. You have a great day.
You as well. Thanks for having me.
In your prayers, remember the Bears.
Go sit on it, anybody that's worried about the fall. I don't care what shape any guy's in, every one of them would do it again.
No plugs for the show today? We'll give them to Team Mongo, baby. Team Mongo, 76.com later.
Thanks a lot, Brandmeier.